hello. Welcome. We are so excited to be here. This is our first live of 2022, the year that the Lord had made. We are so excited and ecstatic to be here with everyone tonight. So, y'all know how we do. We're not going to belabor all these introductions. We're going to let everybody talk. But we have a sizzling and titillating topic for you all tonight. So welcome to the first episode of Christ Connections and Conversation for 2022. Tonight we will be discussing love or money, paying the cost to be the boss chick phenomenon.
Kim,
What?
when I die, can she say my obituary? Because I like how she sounds.
I'll put it down in my notes about.
I mean,
Okay.
I'm a poetess, so I like to do my thing.
She is extra. That's what that is.
Whatever. That's my
She'll make me sound like I'm Dr. Martin Luther King and stuff.
whatever.
And she's fine.
Are y'all gonna let the guest speak before you start?
Behave, Jonathan.
So we'll go over to the person who's on the top, Carlton Worthen. Tell the people hello.
Hello, everybody. So good to see you this evening. I want to give a shout out to Coach Ebony, to Elder Kim, Coach Jay, specifically for the invite, the opportunity to be able to grace this platform once again. And I am looking forward to having a very engaging conversation on this evening.
Brother Karen.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I am the same, very appreciative to be here with you guys on this evening. I look forward to the dialogue. Thank you once again for the opportunity just to chime on in wherever I can, wherever it's needed, wherever it's necessary. I'm looking forward to this. Is a hot topic, so I'm ready to go.
All right. Brother Micah Carter.
I'm just gonna say real quick, good evening, everybody. I'm grateful to be a part of this. I think I've been a part of one before, but this is a very, very provocative topic, and I'm excited, like Elder Karen said, to jump in there and see what we can flesh out tonight. So I'm grateful to be here.
Okay, so before we jump into it, I'm going to try to share my screen. I've never done it on this platform, so I'm hoping it works. We want to watch a little clip, and tonight's topic is courtesy of my brother, Carlton. So we can thank him for all the shenanigans. All right. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can get this going.
Much obliged and happy to please.
Let's see what I can do here. Share screen. All right. Can y'all see it? Because I can't tell. Let me see if y'all can hear this or not. I don't know.
It's about a workaholic who's serious.
The thing I promise my people, I may not know how to teach you how to be the best mom and the best wife. I may not teach you how to get married, but we're going to have some money. That's what we're going to have. We may not be the best wife because I don't know how to be all submissive to them, especially though no king, no man ain't being no king. I'm not going to tell you to bow down and be submissive to this for real. But I'm going to tell you how to get some money. Yeah, that's what I promise. I promise my people that I may not know how to teach you how to be a submissive look.
So did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear any of that?
I did.
Oh, yes, we heard. We heard.
Elder Karen, you heard that?
Heard that time, fool.
So basically, if you did not hear what she said,
I did.
It's a clip. Sissy, give the title of the YouTube clip just in case somebody wants to go back and watch that. But basically, the gist of what she said, because she's a boss chick doing her thing in her own lane. If I'm not mistaken, she's a millionaire. She's a single woman. And what she said was, I may not be able to tell you how to get a man or be a good wife, but I can teach you how to make some money. My girls, we may not have men, but we're going to have some money. That's what she said. Sister, you got the title of the YouTube?
I'm about to try to see if I can put it here in this chat.
Okay. That'll be good.
If you want to go back and watch.
The title was The Truth About Why Modern Women Are So Unhappy.
Yeah, and so I put the link in the chat. That should take you to it if you want to go back and watch it. So let's jump into that. Because I think the boss chick phenomenon was born out of necessity of some part as a defense mechanism to hurt, anger, and bitterness. As a woman, those are my thoughts, because it's everybody know the song, don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is just a man, and Mr. Charlie is the blame. And Mr. Charlie, everybody think, having a piece of man, but then you get mad because you got that piece of man, and you like, well, I'm just gonna level up and do it by myself. Because you can, I can do this by myself and not be hurt, and not be mad, and not be angry, and not have to share my man with nobody. So what happens when a woman can obtain everything she needs and she don't need a man? What you do with that?
Let me back it up just a little bit and ask the fellas. This whole boss chick phenomenon, how do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about a woman who is out here doing her thing in her bag, running her businesses, getting 3-4 different bachelor's degrees, don't really need a man for anything, but don't really need a man for anything? How do y'all feel about that caliber of woman?
Michael, you
look like you got something to say.
Okay, because here's my perspective. I really think those things are great. I think it's great that she's working. I think it's great that she's established herself. I think she's great that she has a career, that she has her own money. However, I think that the same way that the attitude is great, or the drive, the discipline, the motivation is great, it is also dangerous, because it develops, from my experience, I've seen where it develops this attitude that is very, I'm just going to have to go ahead and say it. It's masculine. It is a masculine attitude that, like you said, where you don't need a man. And this is not about, because the truth of the matter is men are going to want to feel needed anyway by their significant other. But I do think that it takes, it's great that she has all those characteristics. It's great that she can provide for herself. It's great that she is out here doing her thing and established. All of those things are great. They are great attributes, but they can be detrimental and dangerous to a relationship without the right attitude. That's all I'm gonna say.
Drop the mic then.
Drop the mic, I'm gone. Now, I was talking to someone just to pick it back off of what he said, and I was like, well, I've noticed quite a bit of professional women with degrees and, going out and doing their thing that are single parents. You would think that would be, they would have partners, whereas women who are, I guess, less educated, less cultured, are what I see that has a more established family unit. And I asked, and the response was, she got time. If you trying to get all these degrees and you trying to run all these businesses, when do you have time for your family and for your man? But yet, women also want to feel like they're purposeful. Like, not their only purpose is to be here and procreate.
So Carlton and Jay, how do y'all feel about a boss chick? Y'all dating a boss chick, or she got to miss y'all? Like, what? How y'all feel about that?
You want me to go first since you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let me give a disclosure. The clip of the young lady that was just played, I know her. I know her personally. Um, I'm not going to go as far as to say that we are BFFs or or best friends, but we do know each other. We had the opportunity to meet when I lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and I met her through an organization known as Organo Gold, which is a multi-level marketing coffee company, and she has since exited Organo Gold and now works with TLC um, in Miami, Florida. Her name is Stormy Wellington. A lot of people call Coach Stormy. So, with that being said, now again, let me be very clear to the audience: we are not BFFs or anything like that, but we do know each other. Now, with that being said, I have no problem with a woman being a boss chick per se. I think where the rub comes is when a any person, it doesn't have to be just the boss chick, but for any person begins to believe that the size of their bank account or the number of branded material things begins to define them and make them feel as though they are better than someone else who may not have a bank account of comparable size. One of the things that I'm very concerned about with this phenomena that is going on with this boss chick title or label is for individuals to believe that just because you may have a certain number of zeros in your bank account, that a person who may not have as many zeros does not have any value or cannot share with you in other areas of your life that helps increase your value. And when you begin to really listen to that entire video, and when you follow some of the teachings of Stormy, and let me be very clear, she has a very large following. She has over 1.2 million Instagram followers. She has a television show that's getting ready to drop within the next few weeks. I believe it's going to be on Lifetime. Don't quote me on that. She's a lady who has verified, has earned over $60 million. So this is a sister who is not trying to fake it till she make it. She really got it going on with the financial aspect, the marketing aspect. But I would say this, what I'm concerned about is that number one is when you take pleasure in emasculating a man or any person for that matter. The other rub that I have, as I've already stated, is if you try to define yourself by material things, but she comes right out and says it. If you don't have X amount of money in your bank account, you can't tell me SHIT. If you don't have this, you can't do blah, 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 blah. What I believe with a lot of these folks is they really are suffering some type of depression deep down and have some type of complex going on where they make an effort to overcompensate because of some type of hurt they've been dealing with through money and material things. That's my attitude. I don't care that you got the bag. God bless you if you got the bag. We don't care if you got the name brands. God bless you. But don't think that I'm less than because you have and I don't. That's the rub.
I can respect that, but
now you do know what "but" means, right? "But" means forget everything that was said prior to.
In addition to what you said, because I don't want it to seem like I'm negating anything that you said, because to a certain extent, there's a lot of truth there. But what if she doesn't have low self-esteem? What if she there isn't a deficit anywhere? What if she has just encountered bum relationship, carrying man after man, giving so much of herself to relationships and situations that she's just gotten to the point where she's going to focus on her, because all of the times that she has tried to include other people in what she was doing, she got played. She got, she got whatever. So now she's just gotten to the point where she's realized her self-worth and wealth. And she's like, if you can't add to me in the same measure that I can add to you, then we don't have anything to talk about. It's not always that she thinks she's better. Sometimes she's just encountered some things in life that kind of sway her views and opinions on some things. Not that she thinks she's better because she's a boss. Because what that says to me, if somebody says she's doing her thing, oh, she thinks she's better, that says to me that there may be some deficit and insecurities in that person to think that this girl thinks she's all that just because she's doing her thing.
Elder Kim, my response to that would be this. And here is the flaw, I believe, with that argument. The flaw is, because you are dealing with past hurts, you feel as though the only way for you to still have worth is by emasculating, demeaning, and throwing off on someone else.
That's not what I said.
That's at the root of it. No, I'm going to tell you why that's exactly what you said. You said what your words were. She has tried to do X, Y, Z in the past, and she's now gotten to the point. We all have hurts, but here's the difference. When I have to make you feel less than so that I can make myself feel secure, you have the problem.
It's not about making you feel less than, though. It's not about
that's what you presented, Elder.
No. That ain't what I said.
Exactly, Carson. That's exactly how it sounded to me, Mama.
That's what you.
Of course, you're gonna say that. No, what I said was, maybe she's gotten to the point because she always saw the best in everybody else, that she's given her.
There's no problem with that. There's no problem.
But nowhere did I say she was dogging a man out. What I said
Elder
was,
Kim,
she just learned her value.
The rub becomes when you have to go to the point of making someone else feel less than because they don't have. That's what she was saying.
But that's what she said, though.
Oh, okay. That ain't really what she did.
And you're trying to use her. You're making an effort to use her to bolster your argument that because she dealt with hurts in the past, that it's okay for her.
I'm not using her. I'm speaking in general from a woman's perspective, not even just necessarily her. I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. What if the woman has been about her bag for years and she's dated men from all walks of life, and she's always given or put her best foot forward to try to bring her mate or help her mate, or
nothing wrong with that. I celebrate sisters who are doing it, but when it gets to the point, I don't need a man for nothing. Listen to what's being said. What you are really saying is, because I've been hurt before in the past, because I've had to fight and claw my way to the top, there is no man that God has created that can bring any value to my life. And if by chance there is a man that is, in my limited, warped way of thinking, he has to have equal or greater than what I bring to the table through money and material things. And I'll never co-sign that in any kind of way myself.
Well, first of all, that ain't my testimony, because I need that ain't my testimony. I need mine. So let me just say that ain't my testimony.
So let's say sis, just a sis in general is making $100,000 a year. Let's say 150. It's a problem that her preference is that she want a man that may equal or greater than that, because let's be real, men have preferences that they want to stick to, hence the huge following behind a certain individual I won't name.
Please don't.
I'm not. But we have all the preferences, so that's her preference. So now she has boundaries and limitations, but that is misconstrued as hurt. That's what I'm hearing. Lord,
I'm trying not to dominate the whole conversation for the fellas, because that is. But go ahead, other fellas.
Let me, if I can, I want to chime in there and say, I think I have to agree with Carlton in this one, in the sense that if you are limiting yourself to a man in a certain tax bracket. Because the reality of it is your blue collar jobs may not make whatever it is that you expect them to make, but he may have the romance, he may have the sensitivity, he may have the characteristics aside from the bank account. And so if we are going to eliminate him based upon the fact that he doesn't meet the financial quota, I understand boundaries, I understand setting a criteria or a standard, but that scale has to balance. And if everything else works out and checks out, I think we ought to be able to say, okay, well, this scale is leaning this way, more solid towards everything is fine. And now I'm going to eliminate him based upon the fact that instead of 150,000, he only makes 75,000. But does he love you? Does he take care of you? Does he protect you? Does he impart in you? Does he cultivate you? Does he grow you, shape you, mold you, help you become, or do y'all grow each other essentially? Is that the only thing that's preventing you from saying, you know what, this very well may be the guy that God intended for me, if that's a thing that you believe in, or one person being intended for you? But ultimately what we're saying is that, yes, you got to be able to get beyond certain smaller things that amount to material and say, I'm going to step out on this because of these characteristics, because of this personality, because of those things. I think a lot of women miss out on good men simply because they got this pit bull grrr attitude about themselves, and they miss out on the total package because of those small things, or because of those things that really don't amount to much of anything. But it's because somebody took advantage, or whatever the case, somebody did not appreciate, or somebody devalued, or whatever the case may be, those things, or because she dated somebody who didn't have the bag, who didn't have the drive, and didn't have the motivation. And for whatever reason, was she willing to stick through him, though, to help him gain that motivation, to gain that drive? Or did she just say, you know what, I'm out, I'm done with it? And so because of that, he's got to meet those standards.
I'm just going to say this one little piece. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
May I add this? And the older I become and the more I pastor, one of the things that I have come to really learn and respect is having a very clear sense of what your values are as a person. A lot of companies, a lot of businesses, small businesses especially, end up running themselves in the ditch because they're not clear on what their values are. And because they find themselves in periods of desperation, they will compromise their values, sometimes unknowingly, because they really need to fill a position really quick. Why am I saying that? That clip that we listened to, Stormy Wellington was very clear. I might not know how to be the best wife. I might not know how to be, I wrote it down, how to help a man. I'm not into this submission thing, as though submission is a bad thing. That's a conversation for a totally different day. But clearly what her value is the bag, material things, and status socially and culturally. If that's not your value as a man, if you are a family person, if you're looking forward to the holidays and raising children and leaving legacy, and legacy is more than just a bank account. It's a part of legacy, but it's more to it than that. She ain't the one for you. So don't become seduced by the trappings of the material things, because your values are not in alignment. And just as sure as you try to connect with each other, you got one hot mess on your hand.
Okay. Elder Karen, would you like to add anything to this portion of the conversation?
Would I? Listen, it was getting so juicy. My phone went out. My connection was so bad. I want to tell you how bad I wanted to be a part of this conversation. I came and sat in my car where the internet connection is much better so I can be a part of this dialogue. Help
We appreciate you,
somebody.
sis.
Listen, I appreciate y'all too. I think I forgot my notes upstairs because I was writing down. No, I didn't. I brought them right here. So going back, which I think the original thing is if we're still in the same line of conversation, which is about her and how she introduced herself or how she introduced what she was about. So I do agree with Pastor over there because the thing is this, if you know that, okay, if I know I want to know how to make money, I'll go to her. But she's already clearly defined the fact that, hey, baby, I'm not going to be able to teach you how to be a wife, but I do know how to get this bag. I respect that in her. But then at the same time, if you know somebody, okay, if you're going to a steakhouse, you're not going to go in there and try to order crab legs when you know you're clearly at a only steakhouse, right? So if you want seafood, you're going to go to the seafood place to get your seafood. So I think that that comes back to the individual. She has been transparent and she has made her case. She stated her claim. This is who I am. This is what I do. And I do it very well. However, if you want to learn things about being a submissive wife, I'm probably not your best bet. You need to go on down the street over yonder somewhere where they can teach you about submissiveness, where they teach you about being humble, where they teach you about being a little more feminine and carrying less masculine energy. That's all I'm going to say for now. For now. Yeah.
I mean, okay, so what I'm hearing, and correct, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sissy. Go ahead.
No, I'm just like for now because she said that's all.
For now.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. The bag isn't the problem. It's is it the requirements from her standpoint that come along with the bag that's the problem?
No, I was very clear. I was explicitly clear from my end what the problem is. The problem is when you begin to emasculate someone, believe that your net worth defines who you are. The problem is when you believe that because your bank account may have 7 zeros behind it. Well, for her, 8 zeros, and someone else may only have a few hundred or a few thousand in the bank account, that you have no worth or value, that you have nothing that can be added to your life to make you better. That is a person who has a serious problem. So the bag ain't the problem.
So, Coach Jay, you've been mighty quiet over there in your amen corner.
I second the Right Reverend Carlton. I second my brother Micah, and I also second my auntie sister Elder Karen. Everybody has great points because they're right. The problem is not the bag. The problem is the attitude that comes with it. However, you might not want to be married. You might just want to chase the bag. Then do you. You might want to chase the bag and be married. There's going to have to be some straddling or some strategic planning on how you're going to do both. Because just like Carlton said, you can't chase the bag and belittle me all at the same time because I'm not on that same page.
And we men, also, we ain't gonna go for that.
That too. But then the thing is, let's go to act like a lady, think like a man. Taraji thought she wanted one thing, but she really needed something else. Yeah. So as Carlton said earlier, it's not that she's masking anything, but the possibility of it is she probably is masking a lot of hurt and pain from her past by going out here and saying, skip y'all, I'm about to go get this money so I can do for myself. The bad thing is when you start breathing that type of energy onto people younger than you who want to be like you, but also want to have a family as well. But like Auntie Karen said, if all you want to do is chase the bag, Stormy is your girl. But if you're trying to be a wife and a mother and all that stuff too, she might not be the best person for you to follow. Because I'm trying to tell you, once you start speaking this stuff over people, people start eating it and listening and be like, "Ooh, yeah, she is right." And then you start looking at people in other ways. Because let's change it. What if a man
I
said the
can
same
do
thing?
bad all by myself. I don't
What if the man
need
said the
no
same
man.
thing? Would y'all ladies be saying the same thing that y'all saying? I'm just saying, he ain't heard of nothing like
But
that.
men
But
do
but
say
right,
that.
but
But
the
men do
thing
say that.
is, men are doing that. Like they might get married, but they're never at home. And their excuse for, well, you want this lifestyle, you see all of this, I gotta go make this money so you can spend money how you wanted to. I gotta go do this. So why are you bothering me? Why you on my back? Why you complaining? Don't you get to go shopping? Don't you get to swipe that card? Don't you drive the car you want to drive?
Come
Don't
on.
you do XYZ? Ain't you wearing this? You got this, you got that. So
Like the
what you
daddy on Love and Basketball said, I got just enough money to keep your fine in Gucci and gold. He wasn't never at home, but he could keep his wife in Gucci and gold. She wasn't happy,
but
but we
so
just
men
want to
are
put up with it because he could
men are
But
doing
that's the
that.
part though. That's the part though. Are you willing to chase the bag and forget family, or do you want to have a family and kind of push that bag to the side? Because you can't do both.
Why can
Because
you not do both? Why not?
y'all
So you
just said
mean to
it.
tell me you can't be a married, successful, financially stable, secure woman? You cannot be all those things. You either got to be a homemaker wife,
Kim,
making a little bit of
Kim,
money.
Kim, you have not said what Stormy said.
We're not
She
just talking
said
about
she's out here
Stormy.
making it. No, this
We're
is the
not
clip.
just talking about her. We're speaking in general because you
Elder
just
Kim,
said you can't do it, period. So now we ain't talking about Stormy. We're talking about the whole, all of us.
Hold on,
Me,
wait,
us,
Okay,
Stormy,
Coach.
Chic.
wait. Elder Karen.
Go ahead.
I I just want to ask the question.
Okay.
Can we not use the word called balance? Because anytime you get ready to pursue anything, you need to have a balance. You got to have some type of stability within yourself. You know, first deal with self, right? So I hear a lot of things we're talking about tonight is going back to core. So what is your who are you at your core? Value,
the
thinking,
values,
standards,
as I said
all of
earlier.
that. Yes,
Okay.
Who are you at your core? And then once I really believe that a person figures out who they are at their core, I'm gonna say this right here, and I'm gonna use myself as an example. You ain't even gotta touch your neighbor because I'm gonna give this one for free. Somebody told me, someone said to me one time, they said, you know what? I just don't think that you have time for me, or I don't think that I can fit into your schedule, or I don't think you have time for a relationship because I do several different things, right? And so my thought and my response to that is that at this point in time, I'm a single female. So, and I'm an empty nester. My children are not at home. So that means I do have time on my hands. And I think sometimes, and this is not a discredit, but this is maybe just an understanding or explanation, that when you don't have little kids running around, or you don't have a husband or a spouse, or somebody at home, then you end up trying to figure out, how can I fill that time? And what can I fill that time with? And then you start digging deeper to say, what can I fill that time with that's going to be prosperous for me and my health and my wealth or my mental stability? So sometimes we get it, and then sometimes we get off course. But I think we start off with right intention. And then I need to go back to what Elder Kim said, was that I had this conversation a few days ago, well, of course, with my children, which was I didn't, okay, let me put it right here. Because I was married for 10 plus years to each one of their fathers, and when those relationships did not work out, I chose to go to school to get a degree, some degrees, to help me make more money, to be able to help take care of my children, just to be able to take care of them. Because I'm sorry, but in this day and time, God forbid, but the stereotype is there, is that women will lay on their backs to get the money, to get the purse, to get the shoes. I could care less about having a pair of red bottom shoes. You hear me? And if I get them, you better believe I worked hard. So when I wear them on, I'm going to strut in them. That's what I'm going to do.
You better
Can I speak to what Elder Kim was? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Well, that's okay. But let me go ahead and tie this up because I don't want to take too much time. But when you said that, when I heard that, I was like, but you know what? I didn't lay on my back to get ahead. Do you hear what I'm saying? And we talking about real conversations, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You hear what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go and do illicit things to bring money into the house to feed my kids. And I understand that some people end up in that place. So believe me, I'm not saying this from a judgmental standpoint, but I'm saying as for me, my children needed an example. They didn't need a mama that was going to sit in the corner, pull her hair out, looking crazy, didn't know which way to go or what to do. What they needed was a mother that knew how to stand up and say, okay, this is where we are. It's not a good situation, but God's going to give us a plan. And so as God gave the plan, that included going to school, that included starting businesses of my own, that included me trying to reach for something higher. And not just for myself, but as a give back. And I think, Pastor, you said that about leaving a legacy for your kids. I wanted them to know that, yes, sometimes things can hit you with a curveball and it can hit you from the side or blindside you. But baby, you don't have to die to that. So you got something you can dig down way deep with and say, you know what? My mama did this, my mama did that, and she just had us, and this is what she did. And so it broke cycles, not just for me and my kids, but it broke cycles for other people in my family. And am I proud of that? I'm grateful, thankful that God gave me a right mind, because I could have been somewhere crazy, half uttering one word. But he gave me a right mind to be able to move out, give me a plan, a process. And guess what? He gave me some paper. And that paper is working for me.
With some paper. Hallelujah.
Elder Kim,
Come on,
I want to speak
Mommy.
to something that, and Elder Karen touched on it with that word balance. And if we don't get, if nothing is heard from me with this particular topic, yes, I do believe that you can be financially successful and also have the family and have a healthy family. I firmly believe that you can have the bag and you can also be a leader within your church, within your community, etc., etc. The rub comes when you begin to believe that your net worth and material things is what defines you, and you are more than the size of your bank account. You are more than the label that is on your back or on your feet. What Coach Stormy made very clear is that she doesn't have time to try to be a wife. She doesn't have time to try to be submissive, that she does not believe that any person who makes less than her can tell her anything. And when you have that mindset, I'm going to say it like I've already said this evening, you got a problem. Can't nobody tell you nothing.
I totally agree.
Can't nobody bless you.
I totally agree.
I want to shift the conversation just a little bit, because there's 3 types of boss chicks I wanted to discuss tonight. But it's one thing that Prophetess Jill Scott said.
Come on.
And I just want to see how the fellas feel about that. She said,
you better quote it. You better quote it.
If you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do. How y'all feel about that? Because she definitely out here bossing.
It sounds like the way you presented it, I guess there's a tone of voice or inflection in the voice that really helps make it home, because I don't get it. If you can tell me what to do. What's the other part?
You can tell me what to do.
I'm sorry, that was just
okay. I'm explain it to you. So if I come to you, let's say, because there is a boss chick that has balance. There's a boss chick that is going out there and getting her bag, in the bag, creating the bag, and is seeking a partner. So if she there's another clip I want to play, but it's 30 minutes, so we can't do that one. But in this clip, this particular person has a balance. Her husband who's married, and this husband has met all of her deficits. So where she is high functioning at, he might not be as strong at, but where she is weak, he is super high functioning, and they melt together.
They balance
And so
each other.
what Prophetess Scott is saying is that if I come to you and I need something, and baby, da 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 da, and you can tell me how to fix it, then you can tell me what to do. But if I come to you and you like, oh girl, no, 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 we ain't finna do that, then you can't tell me what to do. Because if I come to you with a need, with a problem, and it's not, you dismiss me, then you can't tell me what to do. So me and my bag gonna tell you what to do.
Because I can't trust you to lead me.
Lead me.
So I gotta lead myself. And if you're here, I guess I gotta lead you too.
Right. Okay,
That ain't what I said. That's what Jill said.
Okay. But leadership is important now.
I gotta go at this.
Go ahead, Michael.
And I'm gonna say why I gotta go at this, because the terminology submission was tossed around a little bit earlier. I saw somebody who commented and said that, and I'm gonna say something that's extremely challenging and difficult sometimes for people to hear. When you look at submission, first things first, when you look at leadership, when you look at submission, when you look at how it was intended, it has very little to do with a commanding type position for the man to be able to instruct and that be the only voice. I do think that Jill Scott said something very important. You got to be able to lead people. But where she missed the mark is, even if his leadership is bad, from a biblical standpoint, you're supposed to follow. Even if his leadership is you believe not under divine direction, you're still supposed to follow. You're still supposed to submit. And it's very difficult to understand that concept. But if you go through scripture and you look at the Bible, you look at everything, it basically tells you that when God had something intended for his people, he always gave it to the head person. And when we look at that concept, it is out of order for it to be out of order. And that's just, I really believe that that's where she misses the mark on that, is you can't all of a sudden take charge and take responsibility just because what you feel is bad leadership is not what you would want to do. You really can't take that. But I must also say, every relationship is different. How you run your relationship, how you do your thing, it should be individual to what works for you. But listening from or talking from a general standpoint, even when it's bad leadership in a sense, even when it's bad leadership, I do believe that you're still supposed to follow, and still supposed to kind of sort of pray about it and be into it. But that's just my belief.
Because baby, what I'm not gonna do is follow you off the cliff. Okay?
I gotta fast and pray about that piece right there. Because baby, now I love you now.
Reverend Micah, can I throw Reverend Micah a line here?
Baby,
absolutely.
Let me throw a line.
And take mine.
And let me be again emphatically clear. I love my brother Reverend Micah, but I'm not going to be able to co-sign everything that was just shared. I understand where he's coming from. I pray that the woman in my life will not follow bad leadership if that is what I'm giving, and she knows that's what I'm giving. I'm reminded of one of the Bible passages in the Bible, and it escapes me right now. But there was this fella who was acting a stone cold fool. And I mean, he was doing some crazy stuff. And what this man did was, his wife did not embarrass him publicly.
Mhm.
But what she did is she went to King David and told King David, Lord, I wish I could remember where that scripture is right now, but told King David, listen, please, you know my husband a fool. You know he crazy. Please don't hold that against him. And the king spared his life because he was too foolish and crazy to understand that the rhetoric that he was spewing was about to get him and his whole family killed. And it was the sister who had to come behind and clean up a lot of the mess that his ignorance began to create. When I look at submission, submission goes both ways. Submission is a beautiful thing because submission is anchored in love. Submission is also anchored in godly wisdom. And so it's never done from the vantage point or the perspective where you are trying to dominate someone. But submission is all about making an effort to listen for the voice of God. And not only listen for the voice of God, but move in holy and divine ways. What submission also means is if me and my boo are having a conversation and I'm trying to take her a different direction and she raises an objection, submission comes in when I dial it back for a second and begin to listen to her heart and then begin to try to use wisdom and get in alignment. That's what submission is all about. And yeah, we can go into the Bible. We're all familiar with the scripture and everything. Love your wives as Christ loved the church. And of course, we know that Christ did nothing to harm the church, to injure the church. Watch this, but gave his life for the church. And so we can get into all of that. But anyway, I'm done. That's my lifeline right there.
Beautifully said, brother.
Very.
If I could, I received the lifeline. I received the lifeline.
Go ahead.
And I want to respond to the comment from, I think it was Stone, Sister Stone. And let me and say that I agree 100%. And I agree with what Carlton was just saying about if she offers, submission doesn't mean my opinion is only important. That's not what I was meant. Let me clarify and say that what you were saying, Carlton, is absolutely correct. If she offers another perspective, I have to take a step back and say, you know what? Because we're partners, we are supposed to balance each other out. So I do want to clarify that piece and say, I guess maybe what I was saying was a little bit mistaken for that, it's just, my opinion is it. And that's all that matters. But I do want, because any decision that I make or before, I tell my significant other this all the time. I tell her, I say, before I make a decision, I got an offer to pastor this Baptist church and whatever the case may be. And we had agreed that while I wasn't pastoring, we had agreed that we was going to start going to church together. That's what we agreed to do. And me accepting a position as pastor of a church would cause me to go back on that decision. So I had a conversation with her and let her know that hey, listen, how do you feel about this? Before I say, yes, I would do it, how do you feel about this? Because we agreed to do this. This is what we agreed. So I do believe it is a two-way street. So I did want to clarify that and say, I hope that it is not unclear that that's real, that I didn't mean a dictatorship style of submission, more so as a partnership style, in that we're having conversations about the decisions that impact us jointly as a couple. And to say that even if we can't come to an agreement, and that's what I was really saying, if we can't come to an agreement about how we work through it, that's just my belief. But I did want to clarify that and say, again, Carlton, thanks for that lifeline.
So you're recanting that even if it's bad, you're recanting even if it's bad advice that she's still supposed to follow you. You're now saying that's not the truth. That's not the case.
Right.
Gotcha.
If, what I'm saying is good advice should be taken. That is what I'm saying.
Okay, you painted it up beautifully. Beautifully.
It was beautiful because my mind went to Ike and Tina. I'm so sorry. It really did. I was like, yes, I.
Man, I was over here looking like,
And
really? I
man,
had to put my finger on my mouth to not over talk. I'm like,
listen, she let him lead. Do you hear me? She let him lead till she couldn't no more. In wrong decision.
Oh, baby.
Thank you for cleaning that up. You cleaned up rather well, brother.
You clean that up good.
Rather well.
It's sparkling. So
Okay, I just want to say, I want to say one small thing. Because we have been talking about the boss woman, the boss chick phenomenon, but I do want, and I think my sisters will allow me to speak for all of us on this tad bit point right here. The difference between Sister Stormy, and we love her, and us is when you have a Christian woman who is, as Elder Karen said, working her own lane, trying to secure a bag for whatever reasons. It's almost never solely for her. It's almost always for the betterment of her family and her future. I'm going to speak for myself. I thank God. God has been blessing me. You know, I have a career that I love. God has been real good to your girl. He's allowed me to go back to school and finish my degree. At the same time, I'm finishing up a real estate course. God has been good to me, but I'm not doing, and my kids are just about grown, but I'm not doing these things so I can say, oh, it's me. Look at Kim. I'm trying to be a helpmate to my husband. That's all I'm trying to do. I ain't trying to belittle nobody. I ain't trying to make you feel like I'm better than you. Baby, let's put these bags together and see what we can do for the kingdom, because it's not about me. And that's the difference between a Christian woman and a woman who may not necessarily have Christian values. We ain't all out here trying to beat our brothers down and we don't need y'all and we better than y'all. It's not that. Some of us are really just out here because we realize that our husband or our man of God, whoever, we realize that he's already fighting enough out there in the world by himself. And it's going to take two. We ain't in the day and times where we just look to you to take care of the household and we're going to be home and we're going to take care of the babies. It's going to take both of our incomes. And if we don't have to struggle, let's not struggle. Let's not struggle. But it's not about just us from a Christian woman's perspective. We out here trying to be the best women we can be for y'all. That's all.
It's beautiful. Can I piggyback real quick with a 5-second blip? Listen, we would much rather.
Come
I
on.
say it this way?
Come on, brother.
We would much rather do it with our man than without him.
Yes.
We would much rather do it with the God man than without him. And submission isn't a problem when he is the chosen one and when he is the God man.
Come on. Come on.
Isha. I felt that. All of it.
Me too.
All of it. Deep down.
Yeah, no pun intended.
you know,
hey, but we need to wait on him. Yeah.
Speaking to what Elder Kim just laid out, and that's my mindset as well. It goes back to that comment I made a moment ago about knowing what your core values are. And when you really know, using the word of Elder Karen there, who you are at your core, what ends up happening is when you are blessed to have someone who you can walk with and grow with, that is a beautiful blessing from God. But whenever that relationship becomes a competition, you know, when it becomes all about your career and it's nothing and there's no balance, you got a mess on your hand. And yes, I mean, I would love to be with someone where I'm able to grow with them. We can build together. I mean, come on, after all, you know, sisters, I ain't no bad looking guy here. You know, I ain't no dummy. If I have
you hold tight, brother. You hold tight. Hold your horse.
But when you can build with someone, that is a beautiful thing. I read something a while back, and I'll close my mouth. I read something a while back about the typical millionaire. Typical millionaire is not what we see on social media. It's not what we see with these different love and hip hop shows and housewives or whatever city. The typical millionaire are hardworking people, watch this, who are married, have successful marriages and families, and love their family. Watch this, and put family above career and their business because they're aware that the real wealth is the relationship and the opportunity to be with family. That's truly a wealthy thing, man.
So, I want to take a few minutes. Is he talking? He froze on my screen.
He did freeze a little bit. Reverend Worthing?
I'm here.
Okay. Okay, so I wanna take a few minutes to listen to something that's on the complete opposite spectrum of what we heard at the beginning. So I'm gonna do this screen share thing again. Let me see how that works. I'm gonna pull my thing up over here on my phone so I can see you. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna share screen, share screen, share. All right, here we go, y'all.
I was surrounded by was money, my house, my cars, my fame. What about your love? So you got a lot of boss sisters that go home to four walls at night. Another track late production, but no joke entertainment. Let's go.
You might even get mad with me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. You mentioned the fact of having a husband.
Yes.
You not only have a husband, but you have a high value, strong husband.
Yes. What's a high value?
High value means a man who knows himself, who knows the value of his position.
But they be using new terms now. Yeah. I got to keep up.
Well, I pull that out of the lexicon because see, a lot of times people don't understand. People throw that term around right now, but they really don't understand what that means. They usually mention that as it pertains to money, wealth, and consumption. Hey, anybody can get a car note. Anybody can save some money. That ain't what I'm talking about. High value is a man who knows his position in his family. He knows his worth. He knows the value of his woman. He knows the value of working together, taking this whole thing, taking the lead, but knowing how to respect and honor your woman at every step of the way. You said something when we were in Vegas, when I came to see you in Vegas. You said something that was hilarious, and I've told this on multiple occasions. You said, all my boss chicks make some noise. In the whole room, yes! You said, where are my boss bees at? And they're like, yes! And I'm like, okay, I had no idea where you was going. You said, boss bees go home by themselves and something else. I was like, oh, Jesus. And the whole room, 70% of the room was like, laughing. It was that type of uncomfortable, truthful. And then some people like, like they was rolling like I was. Then some other people like, oh, Jesus. Like, And I was like, but you said that coupled with what you said right there, I don't think a lot of successful, powerful, strong women like you understand the value and how to dwell with a successful man, with a powerful man. Do you think it's any credence to that today about about my observation with that? And that's a soft observation too. I'm not giving y'all the full takeoff on that. I'm telling y'all right now.
Well, we've been taught as Black women, get the bag. We've been taught, be a mogul. We've been taught, be empowered. We've been taught, be independent. But ain't nobody said, be a loving wife. Ain't nobody said, nurturing mother. See, and I was that woman. I was that boss. So I'm talking from experience. Whoever made the money made the rules, baby. But then I got with a king.
So, do
Come
we
on,
think that having a man who comes in and changes the way you view things changes your ability and or want to submit?
Repeat that
Yeah.
again.
Is having what you consider a high value man as a woman changes how you view submission or your want to submit while you're getting the bag?
I think for us, I'm gonna say for me, submission and trust goes hand to hand. If I can't trust you, I'm gonna have a very hard time submitting to you. So that's just like my thing. That's my take on it.
That's my whole testimony.
Yeah, if I can't trust you, I'm gonna have a hard time submitting. I mean, that's just my truth. Submission and trust should go hand in hand. That's kind of like what Carlton was saying earlier. Like, I gotta trust you to be able to lead me. Where we going? I don't even gotta know where we going. But if I trust you, I trust that you're gonna get us wherever we're going without a problem. But I've got to trust you.
I mean, I'm gonna ask where we going, but if you be like,
None of your business.
None of your business, just sit there. I mean, I'm a pout, but I'm gonna go.
That's just for me. We need to reiterate the question for the guys. I think Michael was just, or John was just coming back in.
Elder Karen looked like she wanted to say something. What you gotta say?
Well, I was, I sit here real quietly until I just can't hold my peace no more. But as as I was thinking about that, and I had to kind of reflect back to see where I am now, right? And I say this, that I've married men, but I've not had a husband. So when I say, in the book is coming, you hear me? I've married men, but I've not had a husband. Okay. And so the revelation of that, and that's a testimony. That was for free. But that's no diss to anyone. And so, my brothers on here, I love you all so much. So this is the thing. At the end of that, I had to figure it out. I was like, okay, so there's one common denominator. And that's a tough pill to swallow when there's a common denominator. And that common denominator is you. Ouch. I pulled my toes all the way back. I don't even think I had feet forward anymore. But once I did, I let God begin to do the work. And so while he was doing the work in me to get me together, I realized that, sometimes you can't always point a finger at somebody else, why I didn't want to submit to them, or, why they couldn't get from me what they wanted. It was because you said, like, we hit on this too, a lot of unresolved hurt, a lot of unresolved issues. But when God does the work and all those hurting, broken pieces starts mending together, we are a better whole. We're a better person. So you don't repeat past mistakes, because wisdom needs to take her place, right? So when I'm waiting for my husband, I'm not going out vetting men.
Come on.
I don't have pearls, but if I did, I would clutch them.
I'll clutch them for you, sis. I'll clutch
Would
mine
you clutch
for
them for
you.
me right now? So in saying all that, when the husband appears, I believe everything is going to be, Jesus died for it all, okay? Everything was supposed to have been restored. And I even believe all the way back to the garden that it's supposed to be restored. That we are supposed to be able to walk in peace, unity, and harmony with one another. And that there is an equal respect that we have for each other. And it doesn't make a difference about the bank account. Because, baby, if you're in the ditch, I'm in the ditch with you if you are my husband. If you on the mountaintop, I'm going to go up on Mount Sinai with you. We both going to come back down and need a veil. You hear me? That's just how that's going to go. Wherever you are, that's where I'm going to be. Submission is not a problem when you are with your God-given mate, because it works well together. But we find more aggravation, frustration, and the rub against each other when we go out picking and choosing folks on our own. And God ain't said that was the one, and we knew it. And we had to admit that we had red alerts about it.
Hey, bullshit.
I'm out.
Aha.
Hallelujah.
I'm trying to behave in this handout.
So listen, I just wanted to drop that before we exit it for tonight because we're definitely gonna have to have a part 2 on the boss chick phenomenon with these panelists. Listen, if you're just catching this now, you can catch the replay on Ebony Lachelle's page, on Christ Connections and Conversations like page, or on our YouTube of the same name. The boss chick phenomenon is happening. There are women out there, unfortunately, who will emasculate you because they are exuding what you call the masculine energy. There are women who are most definitely looking for someone to balance them because while they're going out there and doing it, they don't want to do it alone. And then there are those women who are so tired of that they have this huge public persona that when they get home, they want to lay it all at your feet and be like, you know what, baby, handle it because I'm a boss everywhere else. I just want to be your wife when I get home. So we will let you know when part 2 will be coming. We thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us tonight. Thank you, Carlton, Micah, Elder Kim. We love and appreciate y'all. Did I not? I said Kim. I mean Karen. This has been Christ Connections and Conversations. Catch us maybe next week.
Not the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Okay, no, we will not be on here next week. I will be. All right, love y'all.
Have a great week. Thank y'all.